What's going on, everybody? Almost Counts Collectibles here, and in today's video we're going to be making some modifications to our Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, our basic Green Ranger from the new Power Rangers Reignition toy line. Now, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be modifying the shield. So we are going to cut off this tab right here that goes down into Green Ranger's chest. Then we are going to work on how we're going to fill this gap up. We are going to paint the diamonds. We are going to paint the cuffs of the boots and the arms with gold. We are going to paint the morpher gold. And we are going to paint the holster black. After that, I think our Green Ranger will be much improved. We'll be able to swap the shield to the Red Ranger and Black Ranger without our Green Ranger looking like he took a villain's sword to the chest. And I think he's just going to look a lot better. Now, there's a few other details that we could do. We could paint in the eyes on the helmet right here, which we might do. We could paint white around the actual teeth on the visor section right here. I don't think we're going to do that, at least not today. We're just going to do some of these other fairly easy modifications, to be honest. The most challenging thing will be getting this chest filled up and painted so that it actually looks good, but I don't think it will be too hard. Look at this, engraved in this peg is an R. I did not do that, but that's kind of cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is cut this tab off. Now, the way we're going to do this is we're going to take an X-Acto knife, a fairly sharp one, and we are simply just going to cut down even. I'm going to bend this out just like this, and we are going to just cut as evenly as possible all the way down the back of the dragon shield right here until it's gone. All right, that was actually very easy to do as long as your X-Acto knife or whatever you're using is sharp. It didn't take much effort at all. I simply just put a little pressure, wiggled it back and forth, and it just cut it right off. And this actually cut down about as far as it could before cutting into the actual shield. So that was actually very easy. Now, I'm actually going to take this tab and I am going to put it back into Green Ranger's chest. We're just going to make this permanently a part of Green Ranger. I might turn it upside down here. All right. Now, that pretty much does what we need it to do without doing anything else. That perfectly fills that up, blends in pretty nice actually with the chest. There is just a little ledge right there. But yeah, that's actually pretty nice. If I painted this white, I mean, that would, the outline of his chest is there. Without this, it should kind of go to the middle and go flat. Just for the sake of making this easy. It actually, I don't know if I just lucked out the way I cut it, but it's almost perfectly flush with this lower portion. I'm just going to paint it and see what it looks like. Worst case, after that, I can go back, add some super glue, something, smooth it out, and we'll see what it looks like. But I'm going to leave it as is for now. So we fixed, for the most part, the hole in his chest. We fixed the shield being able to go on Red Ranger easily. So before we paint the chest, actually, okay, so I think I'm going to paint the chest first. Now, I'm going to try and just paint it with one of my little paint markers. If that doesn't work, sometimes it's hard to like smooth everything out and make it look nice. I might just have to mask it off and go outside and spray paint it real quick. But I'm going to try to make this work first. All right, guys, in all honesty, I think I'm just going to wipe this off and I'm going to spray paint it. My paint pen is a little old, and some of that old dried paint that is on there is dragging across this a lot instead of having that nice little soft sponge. which no big deal. I mean, this probably would have turned out okay if my paint pen was in better shape, but I'm just gonna wipe this off and we are going to spray paint the chest. All right, we got most of that paint wiped off there. It actually helped fill in those cracks a little bit, but we are just gonna mask this off and we are going to spray paint the diamonds just so it's a nice even coat of gloss white to match all of the other white, because all of the other white is a gloss shiny white, and I do have plenty of that paint. So we will do that last. Let's go ahead and move on. We are going to paint the holster black. Now, I'm going to use the same paint that I used on my first Lightning Collection Green Ranger to paint his holster, because it worked out really well on that rubber. It didn't scrape off hardly at all, and it dried really well. And the paint that we're going to use for that is just one of these cheap 50-cent apple barrel paints. We're going to use that matte acrylic paint. Like I said, that's what I used for this holster and it works out well. This is another slightly rubberized type of plastic, so I think it will work out well for that too. So let's go ahead and paint the holster. All right, the inside of the holster, I might get it later. I'm just gonna leave it for now. And we will let that dry. All right, now while we are letting the holster dry, we're gonna go ahead and take our metallic gold paint pen and we are going to paint the cuffs of the gloves, the boots right here, and the morpher. Alright, since all the gold is done and drying, and since I already have some paint over here on my little cardboard piece from the holster, I am going to go ahead and paint in the eyes on his helmet. Alright guys, I think the last thing that we need to do is just paint this chest. Alright guys, so I have masked off our Green Ranger here. I put it in a couple bags, tore open the little window area where I'm going to paint, masked it off really good with tape. Now when you mask off these diamonds, I suggest you mask off a little more than you need to. Don't go to the very outer edges, because if you get any overspray or you accidentally paint the diamond too big or too kind of messed up, it's hard to go back and fix that with spray paint. So it's better to paint too little by accident than too much. So I actually put the edge of my tape in the groove of the diamond instead of on the outside. But even if it's just a little off, it shouldn't look too terrible. But let's go ahead and paint this. Now this is a very small surface area that we have to paint. Shouldn't take but a few quick hits with the spray paint can. I'm going to be using some of this Krylon Cover Max white gloss. It is for plastic. So it should dry pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and hit the main diamond. That's the only one I've masked off so far. And let's get that painted. All right guys, while we wait on the last of Tommy's diamonds to dry and take that apart and see what the final result looks like, we'll probably have to clean it up just a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and paint the eyes on the other helmets just because I already have the paint out. All right, guys, so we got our whole team here that we have customized. Now, in all fairness, the regular Rangers, all we did was add a dab of paint to their helmets for the eyes. So with blue here, we added the yellow. With yellow, we added the black there. Outside of that, they really don't need much. We added the black to Tyrannosaurus helmet there. Now, Tommy obviously got the most paint, so we painted the Morpher gold. We painted the holster black. We gave him his golden bands around the arms and the feet. And we painted the diamonds, as well as we filled the diamond in the middle of the chest. The diamonds just kind of fade into the green there, because I didn't want to take the time to mask it off and paint the back, although you can. We also painted the eyes on the helmet here. So Tommy actually looks good with the dragon shield off and on Jason. With Kim, we just gave her her two little black dots right there on the pterodactyl. And then with Zach, once again, right here with the yellow. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and put the dragon shield back on Tommy, just so you guys can see what it looks like when he's all done. And so you can see that he still looks good, even without having that giant tab and crevice for the shield itself. All right. And there's Tommy. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, oh, here real quick, it dried a little bit more. Here is the dragon dagger with the green and the black, and once again some more gold, some silver down here, with just a little bit more paint apps, because I just didn't like that solid gold dragon dagger. And it looks even better in his hand because it covers most of the gold on the handle. But with that being said, all right, next thing I want to talk about is the weapons and the power blaster. Now, the weapons themselves, they all look pretty good. They have their two basic paint apps, no real complaints. If you wanted to get crazy and add all the little tiny details, you sure can. But I want to talk about the power blaster. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to make the power blaster and how to do it the cheapest, easiest, quickest way that you can pretty much do it, all right? Without any crazy modifications or anything like that. Now, first and foremost, we do have to cut the power lance in two. I will make a video later showing you how you can reconnect it. I'm even going to add a little section in between to make it just a little bit longer. But we are going to have to cut this in half. All right, so I'm going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm just going to make a straight little cut straight through to turn these into the two individual power lances. All right, easy enough. Okay, just cut it straight down through there. Now that we have our two individual power lances, we can make the power blaster. Now, how are we going to do that? All right, guys, we are going to take these glue dots. What this is just a roll of these little round, almost transparent little dabs of glue. Okay, I'll show you what they look like. They look like this right here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to I got to take these first couple off. It's even hard to cut these because once the blade touches it, it wants to pull off. That's how sticky these are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of this paper it comes on and I'm going to overlap it over this first one. And I'm going to smash it down real good. Then I am going to take my X-Acto knife. I'm going to put this under it. And I'm just going to cut out some slivers of this. I'm going to cut this first one into probably 3s. Let's see here. Now when you cut this, you got to go all the way through and just drag it down. Okay, that one should be cut. If you don't put this paper over it on top, it'll grab a hold of the blade, it'll drag, it'll retract on itself, and you can't pull it apart. It's extremely sticky. All right, then I'm going to go over a little bit more. All right, I should have 3 individual ones. I'll probably have to do a couple more. But here's what we're going to do. So on the very front part of the power blaster, we're going to put some of this adhesive. All right. Now, I'm cutting this because I don't want a big blob of it. I still want Zach to be able to grab a hold of the axe up here and kind of hold it in his hand. But I also want the bow to be able to go on here. All right. Now, I'll be honest with you. If you do this a lot, take it apart, put it back together, take it apart, put it back together, some of this might pull off. You could probably just stick it right back on there, smash it down, and you'll be fine. This isn't a permanent solution. This is just a quick, easy way to make the power blaster, make everything go together fairly sturdy, without really having to do much at all other than buy some of these and cut them. So let's go ahead. I'm going to rip this paper off to bring it with me. All right, the first one we're going to put on the power axe. Now, I'm going to leave the paper over the other 2 pieces. I'm just exposing this first one. I'm going to put it kind of right where I want it, smash it down, and then peel the paper off. I want this all the way up at the front here of my power axe. Okay, I'm going to smash it around there. All right, now that's not extremely obvious that is on there. It's fairly clear, so it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. And if I take my power bow and I put it all the way up against the front and I smash down, my power bow will stay on there. All right, because this is very light, rubbery weapons. They're not heavy. This stuff is sticky enough to hold it in place. Then what we're going to do is we don't want to, like I said, we want to try to keep this one on the axe. So when you take this off, just kind of peel it to the side to leave that on the axe so Kimberly can still hold her bow. But we are going to put a strip on the left and the right. Now, since I cut this in 3 and I really don't need one from the sword, this might be all I need. But let's expose our next little section here of glue dot. All right, now we are going to, you kind of want to put it between the claw right here and between the end, kind of where the bow, just before where the bow, the molding of the front of the bow ends. Doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as you're kind of in that area, we should be just fine. I'm going to smash this down real good. And then I'm going to peel this up, hopefully leaving the glue behind. All right, I think most of my other glue came off. I don't know if I got much left in there. I don't think it cut it all the way. I got a little bit left. All right, so might work for the other side. Let's go ahead and put it on the other side. Smash it down real good and then peel this up. All right. All right, guys, so I got my little pad of glue dot on each side of the bow. Then all you should have to do is take your weapons, smash them on there. Just trying to line them up decently since I don't have an exact peg or anything to go off of right now. All right, and then lastly, I'm going to stick my power sword on top, and it pretty much stays by itself. All right. Is this perfect? No, it is not. But it works, all right? This stuff is sticky, okay? I'm wiggling it around. Yeah, it is kind of like the weight is kind of causing the bow to tilt backwards just a little bit, but it's not going anywhere. And I didn't have to cut the, I didn't have to cut holes in the weapons. All I had to do was cut Billy's power lance in half and put some glue dot on there, and we're good to go. It's good enough to stick together, hold together. Let's go ahead and put it in Jason's hands. All right, guys, and we have the power blaster. All right, it's not perfect, but it'll stick together. It's a quick, easy way to throw it together and take it back apart. You don't really have to damage your weapons other than cutting Billy's lance in half, and all you want to do is paint the bottom of these silver for the power blaster form. Now, I'm going to make another video showing a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more in-depth way of putting these weapons together. I haven't fully decided if I'm going to try to do the magnet route or if I'm just going to do some pegs to get them to go together. But this is what we got right now, just for a quick fix, in case you just want to throw it together, in case you want to display it. You can get it looking a little bit better, whatever the case may be. But like I said, they will stay on there like that using those extremely sticky little glue dots. And it's kind of transparent, and it's not super obvious that it's on there. So yeah, anyways, just a quick fix. So I'm going to show before and after of the Green Ranger, and that's pretty much it for this video, guys. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, let me know down below. Tommy looks great with his additions and his changes. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. And until next time, I will see you next video.